Abby and Ron, we were only outside for a matter of minutes watching that storm front as it came into town pretty fast, I'll add. Right now you can see we're still getting a consistent amount of rain, enough to get wet. We're still hearing some thunder overhead, and there's a lot of lightning action, and that's going to be more to our northeast of us. Ron and Abby, environmentalists claim the straws are one of the biggest polluters of the ocean, and once they get in there, they can't really break down. These are individual panels, so they can basically adjust this wall based on the projected flood levels. Each panel goes down 20 feet, and they weigh 110 pounds, so you'll need about 2 people to put each one of them up. The city practices putting these up each year just in case this river were to flood again. So if I run my hand just over the KWL car here, it's still pretty wet, a little bit of ice, but it's not freezing over. Told us to go down that maintenance path, but when we tested it out with a Garmin, it suggested taking a different route. Coming up tonight, you'll get an inside look into this historic Ford tri-motor plane. And I'm channeling my inner Spock right now. I had to pick up these Vulcan ears earlier today. But if you didn't know, Riverside is the future birthplace of Captain Kirk. That's Star Trek's main guy. And while Captain Kirk won't be born for another 200 plus years, his spirit is alive and well at TrekFest. Abby, officials are just wrapping up their hours-long investigation. You can see them leaving behind me. The Johnson County Metro Bomb Squad is among them. You can see there's a lot of snow coming down, and that means there's a lot of snow building up. But that's not enough for the university to cancel classes without even being in direct sunlight. But after sitting here for 20 minutes, again, mind you, this is on a cloudy day. The car is registering just under 90 degrees. And officials say cracking a window isn't going to help, but there are easy ways to prevent this from ever happening. Ron, the school is named after Dr. Christine Grant. That name should sound familiar to you. She was a pioneer of women's athletics, not only at the University of Iowa, but across the nation. There's always so much excitement around the Winter Olympics. I already have my Olympics hat ready to go.
Now where the party, I assume, is rocking and rolling at this hour, Jalyn.
Yeah, Ron, the party is in full swing down here. They have most of the streets blocked off for the Book It to Iowa City Bash, as they're calling it. And there's just a lot of excitement down here as Iowa City hosts its first overnight RAGBRAI stop in more than 4 decades. He says 2 men already had a hose connected to the grease bin here. The shooting happened on Valley Avenue here in Iowa City, not too far from where I stand right now. Police tonight say they will not be releasing the exact location of where this occurred. It's still hot out here. As Kyle said, it's still just over 80 degrees. They were also upset because some of them had already voted for him. In fact, over 13,000 Iowa Democrats had already cast their ballots by Wednesday to show people how investigators can make a match through a website and what that means for people using these sites such as Ancestry and 23andMe. Ron and Abby, Mount Vernon police say they have had 3 cars in 3 weeks get stuck on that road because their GPS led them through it. This is a road that most cars cannot pass through, and so police are saying when it comes to using a GPS, you should also be using your gut.
Proceed to Bryant Road Southwest.
This is the situation drivers are coming across in Mount Vernon. The GPS says to keep going on Bryant Road. The problem? It's a maintenance road. The path ahead, while a bit rough, looks manageable. Then it turns into this, a grassy path.
That's essentially impassable once you get to that corner.
Cars that have continued on come across a problem. They're getting stuck and then are calling police to get towed out.
They were following their GPS and turned. Seemed like it wasn't a good idea, but they went anyway because the GPS told them to.
And once you get around the bend of the road, it only gets worse. You can see here just how deep these ruts get. And when they continue on even farther, it nearly becomes impassable by the mud alone. This is where 2 of the cars have gotten stuck so far. You can see a tire still stuck in the mud there.
This is where the Blazer was.
Police say when it comes to following the GPS, to trust your gut.
Your GPS is taking you to a place that it doesn't look like you should go, then trust your brain versus the electronic device. If it looks like it's probably impassable, I mean, it probably is, right?
And when we used the Apple Maps on our iPhone, it told us to go down that maintenance path, but when we tested it out with a Garmin, it suggested taking a different route. Police have reported this issue to Google Maps. They hope that will prevent it from happening anymore in the future. Live in Lynn County, Jalyn Souchek, News 7, KWWL.
Where this big pile of dirt is, this is going to be, there'll be a practice field here.
Liberty High School Athletic Director Mike Morrison says the athletic facilities are nearing completion. Baseball and softball fields are taking shape, bleachers going up, and the turf stenciling is going in. After having to be creative with where they would practice and play last year, outdoor sports here will soon each have a home.
We're going to be able to be on our own campus and not have to travel around.
This will be the first year the high school will be able to offer varsity football. One of the featured amenities of this facility is that it comes with an extra layer of protection for concussions.
We had 9 concussions in our freshman-sophomore football program last year for a variety of reasons, and we dealt with them, you know, in a variety of sports. But one of the things we looked at when we built this facility, what are some things we can do safety-wise?
The shock pad, developed by a company called Brock, was put under the turf.
Underneath this is gravel. This is what you would normally play underneath. So this is on top of that, so that adds a little cushion. We believe we're the only high school in Iowa that'll have it. It is a concussion and injury reduction measure.
The shock pad softens the blow for when a player comes down on the turf. It cost the school $100,000, but Morrison says comes with a 25-year shelf life.
We want our parents to know that we're doing everything we can to make football and soccer and anything that happens on this facility as safe as possible.
Juuling is among the latest trends. Hundreds of video examples uploaded to Instagram of teens catching a buzz in the middle of class. But substance abuse experts are fearful of what this craze could mean.
This is the next generation of smoker. Cigarettes are not popular anymore. Cigarette use has gone down. Cigar use has gone down. The vaporizers, the electronic smoking devices, those are what they're getting the younger generations with.
Unlike traditional vapes, Juuls are small, sleek, and most importantly, discreet.
It's so easily concealed that if you don't know what you're looking for, you're just not going to see it.
They look more like a flash drive. In fact, you charge them through a USB port. They have less smoke and odor, which adds to their appeal.
When something becomes a trend, when it becomes hot, it fires off. I mean, it goes. The biggest thing is education. Like I said, a lot of kids don't even consider this vaping. They don't consider it an e-smoking device. They think it's safe. It's clearly not.
But health experts point out one Juul pod has as much nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
It's got a salt mixture in the nicotine, so you can actually take a smoother drag off of it. Kids are getting bigger drags off of the Juul than they do off of a regular e-cigarette.
The makers of Juul say their product is only for 18-year-olds and older, adults trying to kick the habit. But flavors such as creme brulee and fruit medley, says the area substance abuse council, are what draw teens in.
When you start that young, the likelihood that you are going to continue to smoke for the remainder of your life jumps astronomically.
Schools are catching on.
Lots of kids were taking snaps of them using it in the restrooms in our locker rooms.
Nathan Weir is the principal of Solon High School.
Parents were shocked. Most people hadn't ever heard of it. A lot of our staff hadn't ever seen one.
Weir says they've seen a rise in vaping, most recently confiscating 2 Juuls from students.
I'm not naive. I think it's happening daily within the building. But I think our response is better now.
They've added e-cigs and vaping into the school's zero tobacco policy, and learning about the potential health risks is even a part of health class.
This is like the cigarette problem schools have always had, smoking in the bathroom. Now it just happens to be an e-cigarette and vaping. I mean, it was...
University of Iowa police officer Jackie Anderson has always been a dog person. A canine officer for the department, her and Fallow have been a power duo for 3 years now.
I've always liked the idea of having a partner in my car who, without question, will have my back 100%.
During a night shift in January, Officer Anderson's team was about to grow when she was notified about a domestic abuse call.
It was an argument over the puppy, where she was accidentally hurt when one person fell on her. She broke both of her front legs and had some lung contusions.
The victim was a 5-month-old pit bull named Izzy, but the owners couldn't afford to treat her injuries.
On her right front paw, All the bones across the paw were broken, and then the left elbow was broken as well, plus then the lung contusions.
Anderson says because of her breed and the mounting medical bills, vets feared she'd have to be put down.
I wasn't going to be able to just walk out of there and not look back and not be able to help her.
The owners agreeing to surrender her, and vets were then able to treat her. After finalizing the adoption process, Izzy is now at her new home with Anderson and Fallow, where she's happy and healing.
And the front foot, too, is a little different.
But Izzy's recovery is far from over. She's still limping, and her foot is still deformed.
Initially, we had anticipated them amputating the leg if they couldn't pin it. They were able to pin it, which was good, but amputation's still not off the table.
But that's still an improvement from where she began.
All she wants is to be held and petted. And that hasn't changed at all. As you guys saw when you came in, she's overly friendly.
Yeah. And as for Fallow,
here we go.
He's adjusting just fine as a new big brother.
Yeah.